This is a KLFY Plus original podcast, Candid Conversations with Lainey Miller.
Welcome back to another Candid Conversation. We have Ms. Dene Thibeaux. You are a former Remarkable Woman winner, family attorney, advocate, all of the above. Welcome in.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So before we get into your story with your work in law and advocacy, what sparked all of that? Where does your journey begin?
My journey begins as a single mother at one point, trying to raise my son the best I can, trying to have access to the court systems for things like child support and custody, and finding the limitations there available to me as a single mother at that point, not having the resources to access the kind of help that I needed at that time. So also, I've always had the dream of becoming an attorney, and that just fueled it even further.
So what sparked that dream to be an attorney?
I know I said in my first interview, and it's so weird, it was reading the book The Client by John Grisham in the 5th grade. I just was enamored by that book. So,
what is that book about? I'm not familiar with it.
A child that was caught in between the mafia or the mob at that time that needed a lawyer to help kind of maneuver that. They were after him, if I recall correctly. But yeah, that was my first introduction into the legal part of it, because I have no lawyers in my family or anything like that, but that was my introduction.
Well, you said you got familiar with law and the court system once you had your son. Mm-hmm. What was that time in your life like? Explain to me.
It was very tumultuous. I was a single mother at that time, of course. I didn't have a whole lot of resources available to me at that time. I was working in customer service. I had just found out I was pregnant and dropped out of UL, actually failed out of UL. So just very, very limited resources, getting frustrated continually with the blocks that I was facing in the legal system, trying to get child support, which that's another story. But that kind of fuel the fire inside of me, like this just does not seem right.
Was pre-law your major at that time?
No, criminal justice.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then so what changed from criminal justice once you went back to school to go into pre-law?
I actually continued in criminal justice. Okay. So my undergraduate bachelor's degree is a criminal justice degree. And I was encouraged by my husband, actually, to take the LSAT, just see what happens. And I did. And so I had an abysmal score, to be honest with you. It was very low. So I didn't even want to apply to law school. He was like, just go ahead and do it. The worst they can say is no.
Exactly.
And I got in at LSU Law, thankfully, with a scholarship. So it was really a surprise to me. So that's where I ended up.
So was family law something you chose or something else that kind of fell into your lap?
Family law chose me.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
When I graduated from law school, I ended up at Acadiana Legal Service. My first job there, I was a child in need of care attorney, so I represented children in the foster care system in the state, and I just gradually transitioned into family law and just fell in love with it.
And so what was that gradual transition like? Like, how did that happen, or what were the steps along the way?
Yeah, there was an opportunity at Acadiana Legal for a new family law attorney, and I was shadowing the leaders at that point and just watching what they're doing, and it just sparked an interest in me.
And then, so your time with children in foster care, working with them, what was that like?
It was very difficult. You see a lot of things. And when the children are the ones that are the victims, it really does something to you, especially me as a mom. It was really hard to see a lot of those cases. But the work they do and continue to do there is immeasurable. It's so valuable to our community.
So family law, what exactly does that mean for people who don't know? What are concrete examples of what you do?
I do divorces. I do custody. I do some child support. I do some spousal support. That's the bulk of the things that I do as a family law attorney.
And so dealing with some things with child support, what's that like for you to know you're helping people the way you needed help all that time ago?
I really am grateful to get to do this work. I always feel like it's such a pleasure to be able to help people maneuver those spaces with them. And I just feel like I have a different type of passion. Sometimes I take these cases very personal, and you can probably tell, some of the judges probably can tell, it's like, okay, calm down. But it's really personal to me, and I just strive to get the results that I wish I had.
Mm-hmm. And so now that you're on the other side of all of that and helping people like you, what would you go back and tell your younger self?
keep fighting. Keep fight, and in the meantime, just keep the needs of your child like at the forefront. Just your love for them was gonna prevail. It's enough, I feel like.
So that passion extended into family advocacy, but we'll talk more about all those efforts after this break.
Candid Conversations with Lainey Miller.
Welcome back. We are talking with Dene Thibeaux, family advocate, former Remarkable Woman winner. Tell me about your former family advocacy efforts. Whenever you won Remarkable Woman, that's what you were focused on. So what were your efforts back then?
Back then, I was still doing a lot of domestic violence advocacy in my role at Acadiana Legal Service. I was also doing a lot of work for fathers, obtaining visitation for fathers as well. And again, at Acadiana Legal, we were providing free legal services to those who couldn't afford it. So I was still in the same realm as I am now, just providing advocacy to people who can't afford it otherwise.
And so whenever we say advocacy, what exactly does that mean or look like?
It's fighting for people in positions that usually cannot fight for themselves. It's being their voice. It's giving them or being a bridge between them in the courtrooms where we know a lot of their remedies lie in a lot of their legal matters.
And I know a lot of people in Acadiana experience that, but a lot of people in Acadiana don't. So what are maybe some success stories that you had with advocacy that you can tell those people who don't know what it's like to be in the courtroom in that situation?
Yes, a lot of my success comes in when fathers have come to see me because they've been denied access to their children, good fathers that otherwise have no reason to be kept from their kids. That are scared of the system to begin with. They think it's a one-sided system. So whenever they come see me and their main issue is that they want to see their children. They want to be there for their kids. So a lot of times in extending help to them and obtaining some kind of visitation schedule so that they can be cooperative and involved with their children, that's one of my success stories. And also, again, domestic violence survivors, that's been a passion of mine even before I ended up where I am now. Just navigating that space with the survivors. I know it's a very, very difficult thing for them. So being there and kind of being feisty and trying to, advocate for them in the courtroom has been a joy for me.
So you're advocating for them in the courtroom. Is that all it extends to? Are there like these one-on-one conversations that you have with these people?
Oh, absolutely. Especially right now, I am working with Faith House, and so we have a system of advocacy, just wonderful advocates to safe plan with them, help them get out of those situations and as safe and securely as possible, connect them with resources in the community that can assist with them and their children in such a trying time. So it's actually... I'm only a small part of Faith House. I help them in the legal realm, but it's a whole system set up to help survivors in our area, and it's fantastic.
So is that something that's changed for you since becoming the Remarkable Woman?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a newer update. How did that happen? How did that fall in your lap?
It just happened organically. I was contacted by Faith House to see if I was interested, and at the time, I was kind of hesitant because I was comfortable where I was, but I slowly started to fall in love with the work that they do, and it was just another way to make an impact and something I was passionate about just on a broader scale because it's exclusively assisting survivors of domestic violence. I wasn't sure if I was ready to combat that. It's very tricky waters emotionally and personally for me, but it ended up being a great transition.
Is there a certain reason you said yes?
Because I know a lot of people that have experienced domestic violence personally, and it was just a personal reason for me.
Yeah, well, I love that. That's a big commitment and a big emotional toll to take on.
Yeah.
So we talked about some success stories or parts you loved during, those court sessions for advocating for fathers, good fathers. What about the domestic violence survivors? Any success stories there? Moments that meant the most to you?
The moments that mean the most to me is it has to be when the survivor gets to confront their abuser in the courtroom. And the way I help kind of navigate that space for them is I prepare them with the questions that I'm going to ask them and ask them if there's anything else that I can ask them on the stand that they would like to, further elaborate with. And a lot of times, they're addressing their abuses for the very first time since the most recent, probably the worst incident. And so it's a scary time for them. And along with our advocates and whatnot, we kind of help build them up to face that because it is a reality. They have to testify to what happened to them. And I know it's such an incredibly difficult thing to do. So we kind of just let them tell their stories. And when they finally get to release what they've been holding in and they have power in their testimonies and power in the things that they're saying, you can kind of see it. Like, finally, I get to speak up for myself. And that's the most inspiring thing to me.
Well, it's inspiring to see how much you give all these people in Acadiana, and you gave more once you won Remarkable Woman back in 2024, but we'll talk more about that after the break.
Candid Conversations with Lainey Miller.
Welcome back. Dene Thibeaux, you won $1,000 for the nonprofit of your choice when you won Remarkable Woman back in 2024. Who did you give that money to?
I did give it to Acadiana Legal Service and appropriated it to two of my clients to help assist them with service of process. We were having some difficulties serving the defendants in those matters, so that money went to helping go through that process.
Do you remember what they were going through in those processes?
In this particular, these were custody cases where we couldn't locate the adverse parties for service of process. And what happens in the legal system, if you can't serve the defendant, the matter doesn't go forward. So it's a very tricky situation, but we were able to help a couple clients with maneuvering that.
Wow. So whenever you found out you won Remarkable Woman that year, what was the first thought that popped into your head?
I don't know how. I was so very surprised and shocked in the best way because you just really don't think that your work, because you love it so much and it's just a part of who you are, that it's making an impact. It's just something you wake up wanting to do, and it feels like a reward for doing something that I love.
I love that. Well, that answer makes me realize probably why you were nominated, but why do you think someone nominated you?
Because I don't feel like it's something special. I feel like I'm called to do this work. And I know it sounds crazy to some, but I just feel like I would not feel complete doing it any other way. I love being accessible to my community. I love being the bridge between people who need access to the courts and the courthouse. I love using what I've learned to advocate for people who are like me.
And so whenever you go back to helping those who were like you or who are like you, what's something you tell them? You know, a lot of these people, you went through their same situation or something very similar. How do you relate to them on a personal level? What do you tell them?
I often use my testimony to inspire them, and I don't look to ways to do that, but I want them to know this hiccup in their lives is just that. It's just a hiccup. You can overcome and still become whatever it is that you want to be, no matter, your situation now. Use it as, purpose. Use it as something to propel you into the next level. You don't have to stop there. And I'm glad that sometimes I can be evidence of that. Currently, I am practicing a lot in front of the hearing officer that heard my case for child support 22 years ago, and I often joke with her, I sat on the other side of the table in your very courtroom, and now I'm coming to you as an attorney and as an advocate. So it's like a real life-changing situation, and I kind of want anybody that's in my situation now to know that there's another side to this. Just keep going.
Joking with the hearing officer that used to be you in there. Mm-hmm. What does it feel like for you whenever you walk into the doors? Do you ever, get a flashback moment and see or hear things?
I often do, but it ignites a passion in me because now I felt so powerless then. And so now I know that I can advocate for change, and I can maneuver the legal mechanisms to try to change things for my clients. So it's a different feeling now walking in.
Yeah. So whenever you won Remarkable Woman back in 2024, what happened after you left KLFY?
Well, we hopped on a flight to LA almost instantly.
Was it like the same day that you were named winner?
I think it was 2 or 3 days later.
Okay, wow.
It was right away. We went to LA. We landed at LAX, and we had a personal driver waiting for us, names, like get in the car, took us to Lowe's in Hollywood. And it was, I should say, they rolled out the purple carpet because everything is purple and pink there. It was beautiful. It was a phenomenal experience.
And so what was that event? Was it naming the National Woman of the Year, or was it just a mingling? So what happened there?
So what happens is 112 remarkable women from all over the nation are there, and everyone is being celebrated. And there is, I guess it's a competition, but it's not really a competition because everyone is happy for one another. And they name one remarkable woman from throughout the 112 regions. So there's a whole celebration that whole weekend. We have parties, and we went to Warner Brothers where we had a private taping at the Jennifer Hudson show. It was just the remarkable women in the audience. We had a gala the following night where they named the remarkable woman. It was top notch from landing to takeoff.
Was there a certain favorite memory that sticks out to you?
Just meeting all the women and just being continually inspired because all of these women are so inspiring in their own, like everyone is doing phenomenal work. So just collaborating and networking with women that are just, I hate to say remarkable, it's so cliche, but they are phenomenal women, and it's just an inspiring experience.
So those other remarkable women that were all at the national level, were there certain stories that were told?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I was actually telling my coworker this the other day. One of the women inspired me personally because she was affected by domestic violence, and when she was going through her divorce, she kind of voiced to the court system that I'm fearful of this man having custody of our son. Well, they didn't hear her out, so they gave him visitation just every other weekend or whatnot. He took the child one weekend, took the baby to Disneyland, and killed him after the visit. They couldn't find his body for 17 days, so she was telling, her testimony about how the court system kind of failed her and how her main mission was educating the court system as to, listen to survivors. They have been living with these abusers for so long. They know what they're capable of. And that one touched me because being a part of the legal system and just, I was thinking, what can we do better? What can we as advocates do better on behalf of these children and the survivors? Did
you walk away from that experience with any new ideas on that?
I'm still learning. I'm still trying. There's some hiccups that we have to overcome with domestic violence laws in this state and funding and things of that nature. But I'm still in a position where I'm learning how to make an effective impact in that way.
If you could snap your fingers right now and have anything happen to better survivors, make life easier for them, what would it be? Is there something top of mind?
Just better protection. Just a system that really hears them out and listens to them. Just a system that's not particularly punitive in punishing, but my thing is let's try to prevent it. Let's try to prevent the worst that can occur and not wait for it to happen.
Is there any way that you would like to see prevention happen? Are there any,
It's a tricky thing to do with due process and affording the adverse parties and the ability to, you have a process to go through. It's really tricky, and I understand where our judges and hearing officers have to be with that. I don't think it's an easy fix, but it's one that we can explore and work together as a community. I think we have to all just be educated and on the same page.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking a lot about your work in the courtroom and advocacy efforts, but there's much more to you, and we'll hear about that after this break.
Candid Conversations with Lainey Miller.
Welcome back. Dene Thibeaux, there's so much more to you than what you do inside of a courtroom, right? So what other community involvement do you have?
Currently, I am on the board of directors as the legal chair of the Family Connections. It's a nonprofit organization that helps transitioning kids out of foster care into post-18-year-old life. So basically, when they're transitioning from the foster care system into young adulthood. It provides access to resources to help help them navigate that area for them, educational and job training opportunities for them. So,
wow. Yeah. So why did you, your plate is full, it always has been. So why did you say yes to being on this board and with helping with this cause in particular?
I really, really wholeheartedly feel like this will make an impact. In being a child in need of care attorney at one point, I do see so often when the kids turn 18 and it's like, bye, good luck. Mm-hmm. And I think they deserve more guidance in that transition, and this organization is passionate about providing those resources to them, and it's great to see.
Yeah, it's great to hear about as well. So let's hear more about you. Is there something people maybe don't really know about you, or something you want people to know about you personally?
I'm pretty boring outside of work. I do have 2 kids, 2 boys, a 22-year-old and a 16-year-old who they're very low key and quiet, but they've been my motivation throughout this entire journey. Most of their lives I've been in school, so they're finally seeing the product of all the things that we've had to sacrifice to be here. So that motivates me on a personal level. And I just like normal things. Like I like shopping and Amazon.
Oh, me too.
And just hanging out with my friends and trying to relax. And therapy. I love therapy too.
Well, let's talk about your sons and the experience, because you said you've been in school most of their lives, but now they're kind of grown up.
Yes.
They're teenager, young adult. So what do you hope they see in you now that you're out of school and doing all of this work in the community? What do you hope they take away from that?
I hope they see tenacity and resilience and how challenges don't have to stop you. I know firsthand, more than anyone else, they've seen some of the struggles we've had throughout the years. I just recently posted that I used to be on food stamps when we were in the beginning process of everything. It was very, very hard. It was a struggle. And there were many times that we couldn't afford a lot of the things that they wanted to do. So now pushing through that, those challenges and seeing the other side of it has been very, very important to me. I never wanted to shield them from that part of it. I want them to remember that this is where we started, but this is where you can go. So
that's beautiful. And you just kept moving forward. Yeah. So speaking of the future and moving forward, is there anything in the future coming up for you, or any goals that you have coming up?
My goals at this point, I really want to continue to build in the work that I'm doing, just make it more accessible to more people, especially in the domestic violence survivor community. I want to be an asset to as many people as I can with our advocates at Faith House. I also want to just, again, continue to build a gap, bridge the gap, between those who can't afford legal representation in the courtrooms, because I feel like there's an area of the population that just does not have access to or they don't believe they have access to the remedies that they have a right to. So I just want to be educational and let them know that we're here, the services are here.
You think they think it's a monetary block?
I believe so.
Okay.
And that's why even though I am working full-time with Faith House, I also provide pro bono services continually to Acadiana Legal still, because I do believe so strongly that people should not be deterred from whatever resources and remedies are available to them. So,
wow. So if we could go back to you in 2024 when you won Remarkable Woman, and now we're a little over a year, almost 2 years out from that, what would you go back and tell your 2024 self once she won Remarkable Woman? Because things have changed for you in your life since then.
Hone in on your passion. When you actually do the work that you love, like they say, you don't feel like you're working a day in your life. I wake up every morning, I'm excited to bridge that gap, to help people overcome their challenges. I just feel so grateful and so blessed to do this work every day. So,
wow, what a beautiful message to end on. Thank you so much for having a candid conversation with me today.
Yeah.
And thank you for watching.